Okay, this is Old Gaming Guru here. I'm here with Last Epoch today, and I'm going to do a video here on my level 94 Void Knight. Um, it's no big secret that everybody that's playing Last Epoch right now is playing some version of Sentinel. I think 50% of all the players right now, that's what they're logged in as. I wanted this guy basically just to farm. I've played this build before. I used Ali's template. It's an excellent template, by the way. Just look up Ali Autobomber and you should find it pretty quickly. If not, it's on a host of different sites. It's an amazing guide as to how to build this character out. I did something different than Ali though. I am going with Smite and a shield. So she is using hammer throw still. That's what I use to level the character, but his smite just does so much damage and it restores health like crazy. So I'm going to first show you how the build operates, and then I'm going to show you how I built this character out. There's only one unique you need. The rest can be just garbage gear, and most of my gear is pretty much garbage, and you're pretty darn tough to kill at level 100 corruption right now. I'll be interested to see how this guy scales, and maybe I'll have to switch over to hammer throw since Ali really is the expert on Void Knight. Her build guide's amazing. So anyways, let's just go ahead and jump in and let's take a look at how this character operates. Okay, so real simple play, one button. Everything else is taken care of. You do have to auto cast anomaly, but that's okay. It's easy to do. And let's go jump into some action here real quick. Okay, I'm trying to remember where I was at. I've been building out my character. I've got more void damage there, ward per second, which is really critical because my shield needs it. And Reign of Dragons, I've got some critical avoidance. Frailty on hit to reduce damage. I think I've got 100% now frailty on hit. We'll check that in a second. But anyways, I've got increased armor too, so I'm trying to build more defenses into this guy right now. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into one of our open slots. I'll just do one here and follow the outcasts, because I haven't done that one yet. There's just so much going on, and I'll tell you what, this game has gotten tremendously better. It's actually kind of bumped PoE 2 from my play cycle right now, just because it's so good. There's so many new things to explore. This is an amazing update in League. Okay, so we're going to go into powers 100, just so you can see. We're going to jump into the first one. I need some coin. I've been spending my coin on stash tabs. I'm hoarding again. And I just want you to see how this character plays. So the main thing that you want to do is just run through mobs as fast as possible. Your devouring orbs will kill them. When you get to bosses, use smite. So if it doesn't go down in seconds from devouring orbs, as you want to get smite out, or if you want to thin out a big pack, smite is amazing if you use fissures, because then you're got an AoE and you also are releasing another AoE, and then see the smite there, it pretty much just one-shots anything. And if you look at my damage right now, 600,000, and I don't even have anomaly up. Okay, so remember to auto cast, unlock your alternate key, then release Noomlock, and now anomaly is on auto cast. Anomaly is a great buff for Void Knight Paladins, or excuse me, for Void Knight. Alright, so let's try a boss. See how this goes. As you can see here, I've got not really a lot of life. I need to improve that because it will also improve my ward. But if you look, just keep bombing away.
Stand down.
There's just so many new crafting options. It's amazing. Let's get back to that boss before I forget it. And you can see here, I've just got crazy amounts of orbs surrounding me. And we're going to go do this boss really quick. Alright, let's just power this. Okay, we start off. And that's it. Alright. And as you can see here, just a nice, simple play style. And I gotta kill Captain Nerva. Devouring Orb New. It auto casts on you. So you do not have to set it up for auto cast, which is amazing. It feels so good. I'm telling you, this game just gets better and better and better. Really, developers need to be commended on their work here. Whereas, well, I think PoE2 took a step back right now. This game just keeps moving forward. You can see here my devouring orbs, I can just pretty much run through non-boss mobs. Now you'll notice I've got my ward coming from my shield, so it only starts to revive once I'm out of combat. My health will get a boost. Anytime I hit something with Smite, I've got some leech. But right now I'm rocking about 4,000 health. And I'm telling you, if I gave up some choices and put more health on this guy, would be just improved. Let's go find our boss Nerva here. I'm doing tons of dot damage. I went from straight hit to dot smite. Feels good, man. And as you can see here, I keep those nice purple patches that just basically obliterate anything that's not a boss. So I'm using Time Rod as my primary dot. It's really important to get your Time Rod to 100% chance and have it spread, so make sure you do that. So the purple monsters are packed up close. Guess what? They're dead. I'm using Volatile Reversal as my movement skill, which by the way is amazing as well. Okay, so. And lost all my ward, but stayed alive. Killed the boss. And that's pretty much your gameplay. Just run around, right mouse button to go ahead and cream everything that moves. I've completed my objectives for this one. If I wanted to, I could pick up some more XP, but you can see this is just a really simple one-button build. And two, if you actually want to use your bottle reversal, which is great, get you in and out of situations really quickly. I could go do that, but the new tombs are actually a lot of fun. They get a little repetitive after a while, but that's okay, because it's the risk reward is definitely worth doing the tombs. There's a currency called Memory Amber, which allows you to interact with things. There's just so much going on here. I really, really have loved what they've done with the game. My biggest problem with this game so far has been which has the funner end game. Before I would have said PoE, but I'm now a little bit more inclined to give the title to Last Epoch. I mean, it's just, this build is just amazing. You can see here, I've got all those orbs up. The orbs do a ton of damage up close. I'm not close, they're not doing any damage other than occasionally they will release. And as long as I'm staying out of combat, I get all that nice ward. And you can rejuve here by basically getting out of combat, so it does get a little touchy with bosses, but I can fix that if I just put more health up. I just have been lazy and been adding damage like crazy. Now I really need to actually spec into health. And that's it for this particular level. My bar's full, so I'm going to go back out and then I'm going to explain the build to you. So it's like, just grab my gold. Okay. Oh my god. More Corsairs. Don't need it. Alright, so let's just look at the build really quick. Okay, resistance is capped. Stacking vitality, because you're going to go ahead and convert that into void damage when you build out your tree. Alright, so I got a 25% chance to block, and I don't want to raise it too much because then it'll turn off one of my major damage sources. I need to get this way higher. This needs to be like closer to 4,060% armor reduction. It also, too, is tied to dot because I have a lot of mitigate dot damage with armor. Stun avoidance is good. I got a small chance to dodge. That gets rid of 8% of damage. My block effectiveness isn't that good. And my ward retention basically is there, but as you can see, unless I'm moving, I'm losing ward. Alright, so what makes this build work? Alright, so first off is, as you see here, we're adding cast speed, no critical chance, and just tons of dot damage. Right now my endurance and my threshold's low, but my endurance is right on track. Critical strike, obviously you want to grab that, and I've even got a little bit reduced bonus damage, but I can get rid of that because I've got 100% critical strike avoidance. Alright, so what makes this build work? Get some healing effectiveness that'll help your leech. Health gained is ensured. Endurance threshold, get some of that too, it'll be on a tree. Get yourself some mana regen, otherwise you'll be struggling for mana even with smite, because you're going to have to use something probably that will give you like a mace that won't give you reduced spell costs, so you'll be constantly running out of mana. And I thought when they hit you I should have a better slow chance. I do. You also want to slow will actually help your dots tick more. And there you have it with that. Alright, let's look at my tree. Okay, standard build for Sentinel Void Knight. You're picking up some resistances, some vitality to scale damage. Get your armor, reduction on nearby enemies, and regain mana when you use smite. That will help you a ton. Okay, so that's what you pick up in your first 20 points. You then go, it depends, Symbols of Hope has a ton of buffs and tons of damages, and it's now self-cast. I'll show you where that's out of the tree, but if you do Symbols of Hope early, that'll save you some headaches. I grab it somewhere like near my 40s, because it is such a good buff when you start getting to end game content. Alright, and all I'm going for here is a little bit of block, and attunement doesn't do me anything, but it does give me the elemental resist plus the endurance threshold increase, so that helps me a ton. I then pick up additional spell damage. I could pick up more here, but it's not scaling very good. You just want enough to get reduced bonus damage taken from crits. Then we go into Void Knight, and we can see here we're starting off with some health and some resistances, adding void damage. I put some into Spell Void, and then also 2 increased health, and then you want damage over time. You definitely need Rot Ripples and Renouncement before you go. Get this and this before you go full Devouring Orb. get at least 5 points. Okay? And then you also want to add this more time rot chance and slow chance when you actually hit something with a void spell. Also, too, more void damage, reduced damage, increased chance of frailty and slow, absolute must, plus your void penetration, which in late end game you're going to start emphasizing that over more flat damage or percentage damage. Okay, so you want to definitely grab yourself some void essences. More vitality obviously adds more damage. Increase your void damage and your mood speed, and reduce negative effects on you. And then this is a great defensive one, so all of your elemental damage will be taken as void, or there's a 50% chance. If that triggers and you take 20% less void, great defensive node. If you want to, you could also pick up the traditional chances to echo and then pick up additional damage when it echoes. So there you have it. And don't forget, you've got a 10% chance just by being Void Knight of Echoes. So you do not get your melee Void, but you do get this one here to repeat, and it's worth its weight in gold. So now let's look at our character and see what we're rocking over here. Inspiration, it helps you keep up the number of orbs you have while you're moving. Void damage over time, void damage, health regen, void penetration, void damage, some void resistance, echo damage, definitely, and time rot, beautiful, plus I get some decay, so that helps me keep my shields up, more void penetration, so I've got about 45% void penetration. My gear is not really min-maxed. I'm not having luck and drops, but I'm going for vitality, void damage and spells. I'll come back to the shield, ward decay, void damage, so I'm just basically getting as much void damage or damage over time as possible, and flat void. Cast speed is critical, vitality. By the way, this would have been amazing for Allie's build, but I got it. I'm keeping it because of the cast speed and the frailty to hit, plus the +1 to Sentinel skills, which also helps me tons. Here's how I max out my crit on my ring. So lots in healing effectiveness, lots in penetration, lots in void damage. Spell damage is also good, and damage over time. So this scepter is amazing for the amount of damage it adds, and that then gives me a smite of 619,000 damage per second, but it costs mana, so sometimes I might run low on mana, but there's some ways to get around that on your tree. The best way is void essences. So void essences actually help you replenish your mana if you run low. That is pretty much the build. Nice and simple to play. You basically put Anomaly on auto-cast. Anomaly provides your buffs. Build out your tree like this. Then let's look at our skills. Symbols of Hope, you're basically going for buffs. You convert all the damage over to void. Increase your mana regen. Get additional symbols. Additional threshold, and you're just basically trying to buff yourself with this particular thing, and it's going to give you a flat 15% damage. Alright, and tons of buffs. Okay, so more healing effectiveness for every symbol. It just, with 5 symbols up, getting tons of mana efficiency and active effect durations. So my big smite puddles actually do lots of damage for a long time. Alright, so Devouring Orb, here you go. Check out Allie's guide on this, but basically you just want to go over and get Abysmal Orbs released, and then you want to come over and do more damage over time. you do go down and pick up. Take this one early, get rid of it, but you basically are going to pick up more damage. So there's your Devouring Orbs. Smite your Heavy Lifter for bosses. And you just want to get tons of damage here. There's 250 damage to Smite. A double cast chance. And then get everything that has to do with fissures doing damage. You could go for the Cull here, but I like it the way it is, and I probably should have picked up a point there just to get it a little bit larger. But if you trigger more frequently, then that actually is good too, because it really stacks on the dot. And then Anomaly is where you're going to get your leech from. Up here, increased attack speed, cooldown recovery, which is critical for keeping your orbs up. And these two basically are just so the bubble follows me. And then finally, we have our movement skill. As you can see here, you get some buffs out of this. And you cast Void Bolt, which actually debuffs your enemies so they take more damage. And this is a great conversion of this skill into a movement skill to a transversal skill. So it also slows too, which means you're going to do more damage for each stack of slow on the enemy. So it's great, reduces your damage, and it also increases the damage on enemies. That's it for this episode. I hope this build was clear. There's so much going on here. This is such a great starter character. So if you're new to the Last Epoch, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Old Gaming Guru out.